Hey guys, welcome back to the U-Spray podcast with Toddy and Mitch. Back for another episode, a few laughs, some information for you guys, and just chatting about all things spray in the paint industry. As you can see, Toddy and I have got some of our new merch on, the cap, bucket hat, so you can order them online or come into the store and see us. There is some other goodies that we have on offer to our members. So yeah, pop in and have a look at that. Now, some exciting news. Yeah, we've had some big things happening over the last week, and we have another 3 distributors coming on board selling our spray equipment and accessories, which is awesome. We have Petrie's Mitre 10 at Port Macquarie, so you'll be seeing our gear stocked in there shortly. Also, another Mitre 10 store in Kincumber on the Central Coast. And also, we have Concept Paints at Armidale, which you would know as Hames Armidale out there. So thank you to those guys for trusting us and our equipment to have in your store and to give that on to your customers. And we are looking to fully support them and the painters in that area as best we can. And you will see us around out there at some stage. We've also got Mark, our customer relations manager, who is out and about at the moment. So you may see him, which is cool. So if you live in those areas and you're looking for some of our stuff, that might be your local paint store. So go and see them, say g'day, and support your local independent business, just like us. And what else have we got at the moment? We just finished a big day of training yesterday, which was good. Toddy and I love training. If anyone's been to one of our sessions or you've seen our videos, we are very passionate about what we do and helping others succeed. And, you know, the buzz that you get out of doing a training day with people and opening their eyes up to the possibilities around spraying is what we do it for. And we had a couple of apprentices in from New Paint Crew, and we also had Eddie, who's a one-man band that subcontracts to people from time to time. He's an awesome guy. Heard his story, how he started out, and
Sydney.
Pardon?
He drove up from Sydney.
Yeah, drove all the way up from Sydney. So we always really appreciate that, taking time out of their day to come along and drive that far for the training. So yeah, he's done a bit of spraying, but he's ready to take his spray game to the next level, where he's only been doing small amounts, but now I feel like he has the confidence to do a lot more. So that was awesome. And we also had Keith in here from Higgins. Yeah, Keith is the new national training manager for Higgins. So we were lucky to have him down in our Newcastle training centre and get to see what it's all about at the Spray Gun Club and what we're trying to do for the painting industry and improving spray across all forms. So yeah, it was great to have him here as well. Great day of training, mate. What were your takeaways?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we because we only had 4 this time, and we normally have 6. We were able to have a bit more time to get a bit more hands-on. We usually get a bit pretty hands-on on the spraying side, but we spent a bit more time this time doing masking and prepping and things that we don't normally have enough time to do with a larger group. So that was good. It's great to see Keith. Obviously, he came up from Brisbane, which is cool. Which, from our point of view, is nice because people are prepared to make a finite effort to come down and take time out of their busy days to come and see us. He's obviously had a career in training, but not too much in the spray. So it's good to see him pick it up real quickly. He's not typically one that does spray, so it just brings credibility to how easy it is. You're giving some pointers and highlights the pain points or the potential dramas you can have, and so we can avoid them going forward, which is great. We don't typically have time to go and work on other substrates, so we spray the roof, and some metal roofing and some tile roofing, which is cool. Yeah, we used the whole range of guns, so I think we have 3 or 4 or 6. So I can really see how well they perform. One of the first things he said to us was, "I hope they're quiet." The feedback we got was, "Yeah, they are quiet." So that's cool.
Yeah. And it's cool to, obviously he's here in Australia working for Higgins, but just to hear his journey over 40 years in spray, what do you say he was 57 now, just how he started out, where he got to working for some really big companies in the UK. He's been to a lot of different spray training and demos, and just hearing about, all the things that he's been exposed to over time. I just love, sort of hearing someone else's perspective that's been in the game for a long time. But also, I think it's great, having someone like him where he's done it all. He's been a painter for most of his life. Then he's trained a lot of staff. Then he went into training just apprentices, managing a large scale of people, seeing the ins and outs of big business, different paints, products, all that kind of stuff. So having someone like him out here teaching apprentices and bringing his expertise to the market out here is awesome. Yeah, I hope that we can get more people like him to come out and help build the spray industry. He's got some big ideas of what he wants to do.
Very passionate too.
Yeah, he's very passionate, which bounced off us really well because we're passionate about the spray game too. So yeah, no, that was really good. It was an awesome day to go through all that. And we've got our next training courses up in November as well. So if you are keen to come to our training sessions in November for the day course, it is $4.99, but you will also get that in a store credit. So you pay for the training, and on the way out, you can spend that $4.99 on anything in store. So who knows? By then we might be selling toddy, so we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's our next training sessions coming up in November, which will be in Brisbane and Newcastle. You can see that on our socials, on our website to find out more. But yeah, hopefully you can join us for the last one to round out the year. Has been a massive year of training. We've been doing multiple sessions quarterly, which has been fantastic. And then we've been doing a lot of one-off sessions with companies wanting to bring just them and their team in and make it very specific to what they do and how they want to learn different things in spray. And it's good because we find that the business owner gets hands-on as well, and all trying to help their staff improve for the business. So yeah, that was great throughout the year to do those one-off ones. And we do get the odd guy that just wants to do a one-on-one session and go through things, which we love as well. So yeah, that was awesome. And just wanted to go on again that we do have a couple of new products coming out soon that you will see. Obviously, our power wire machine just came out with our hoses, our extendable extensions, which you can find online or at our distributors. But we also have a new SGC 1 model coming out. And we're not going to go into too much details, but it is a diaphragm pump. It is lightweight. It is brushless, and it kicks ass. And it's going to be at a great price point. So stay tuned for that. We know there's a lot of guys out there that love their diaphragm machines. So you'll see that. And yeah, there is a few other things in the works. We actually have hoppers in stock now for all our machines. So if you're needing a hopper, then we have those available. Was there anything else to add there, Tony?
I don't know if I showed off the new extendable extension poles, telescopic ones, which basically makes it so you don't have to carry so many extension poles. You get 2 sizes of one, so they extend basically double in length. With some pretty long ones too. So one that goes all the way up to 3 meters. So if you've got a tall ceiling, saves you having to pull out the cherry picker, scaffolding, whatever. Feedback's been really good on them so far. And yeah, I think they're actually really cool, really good. And the good thing too is typically if you've got a long one, hard to store without getting bent, so you can collapse them, put them somewhere safe, which is handy.
Yeah, cool. So something I wanted to chat about today, and we get it all the time. How much should you be thinning your paint? Should you thin your paint? Should you not? When you're spraying, should you thin it? And yeah, what's your take on when guys ask, should I just thin my paint? Whether it's brush and roll, whether it's spraying, just in general, what's your thoughts about it?
So my general rule of thumb when it comes to most architectural coatings, water-based for your house, is if you don't have to, I would prefer you didn't. Mainly because I always feel like if I do it, then someone's going to blame me for why it's not working. So I've always made it a point to never thin it. I remember when I was the Wagner, Dulux had to come in to sort of help them solve the Enamel scenario. And we tried all sorts of types of thinnings. If you get to work, if they thin with certain stuff. But to me, it was like, we have to get it. We have to figure it out so that it could be the same for everyone. Because the thing is, if I thin it 5%, was it 5% or was it 6% or was it 4%? Just can't really give good information that way. So, eventually figure out a way to be able to do it without thinning it. But yeah, in general, I prefer not to thin it. You're just going to, without proper technique, most people don't understand the whole concept of dust coat, and so you're just going to make it more prone to running. So, which I don't like that. More prone to, again, it's another reason for your sales rep to blame you if it fails. But I do actually recommend thinning if you ever have to spray oil-based enamel, and more so than normal. Most spray products that are industrial will actually tell you how much to thin it. When you're spraying it. Oil-based enamel is one that I get asked for all the time. Guys call me all the time struggling with it. Two things about that. One is don't thin it with terps, guys. Just because you just assume you use terps and they'll thin it with terps. One, it doesn't really help, but two, it deadens the gloss anyway. So if you're looking for a finish, you'll get patchy and whatnot. So we always recommend using. You guys have a product called Spray Finish or Spray Solvent or whatever. It's in a little green container. Always recommend people, if you're spraying oil-based enamel, thin it 15% with that stuff, which might be above what they recommend, but bro, guys love it. I'm sure a few people who are watching this have had that experience and have recommended it to them. Infinitely better. You actually enjoy spraying with oil-based enamel, then it's not going to run unless you put it on super heavy. But yeah, so in general, I prefer not to unless it asks for it. And then the one scenario I do recommend it from architectural point of view, for most painters are going to occasionally use enamel. 15% with spray thinners.
But what about guys that say, with acrylic paints, that they like to thin it down because it sprays better, it sprays nicer, it flows better?
Okay, that's actually a good point, because there is a time I would suggest thinning your paint. Because it's true, if you add a little bit of water, some products, will atomize better, feel a little bit better. The one time I would actually recommend it, if you're comfortable or confident in your system, is in the winter time. Guys always ring me, it's tailing, my ceiling flat's tailing, my primer's tailing. It's because in the winter time it's super thick. You should experience this. It's super duper thick. And so in that case, I'd say get a little bit of warm water, thin it 5% or something like that, just to kind of soften it up. Not outside that, again, like, guys, you're free to do what you want. I mean, some people thin it, it's fine. It's me personally. I prefer not to, because one, it will increase the amount of overspray. Because it's finer. But two, I don't like, if your paint's so good, why do I have to thin it?
I think I went through phases where there was a long stint there when we were spraying that we would thin down like first coats and the primers and stuff like that. Obviously, to get it, our thought process behind that was, get it flowing, and obviously you can stretch it out a little bit better, you know what I mean? And, my philosophy, was it helped it dry a little bit quicker as well. And who knows, that might have just been in my mind.
Well, you see guys that add a splash of water into their roof membrane if they're doing metal roof. Has a similar effect to some of those glycol extenders. But so that guys do that, and they seem to have better success without having flashing on their roof. So
Yeah.
if it works, great.
Well, see, the thing for me is, as I said, for a long time, thinning down the paint. And then on the last coats, I wouldn't thin them down because, obviously I wanted to make sure it was Mickey Mouse. There was, for some reason, the water didn't affect the finish coat. But the thing is, when I sat back and looked at it, and knowing the things that I know today, is that I was, regardless of even thinning the paint down to stretch it out, I was putting way too much paint on anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like the undercoat, like thin or not, undercoats I was putting way too much on from time to time. Like I try to get a really nice coat on it, where after doing some training and learning different things, that it's actually designed not to be put on so heavy and put on pretty light. And also when knowing about film thickness gauges and using them and realizing the first coat I was putting on, like I'm spraying, I'm like, oh, that cover looks nice, I could almost finish it like that. And then you measure it and it's like, well, you technically have finished it, but you've also got some patching to do. You need to sand it back, everything like that. Yeah, just knowing those different things, it saved money on how much paint used on the job and achieving the spec. So yeah, understanding that was a huge advantage. And going into the tips that you're using, how fast you're moving when you're spraying, all those kind of things, obviously play into how much paint that you're using.
I would say from my experience in Australia, almost everyone that sprays uses too much paint. And not just a little bit, but a lot of it.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? Because, we've seen it at training, like when we've got guys to say, okay, like that have sprayed before, show us how much you're putting on. And I specifically remember one where we did it at Bruce Brothers. We did some training down there with them in Sydney, and we got guys to spray it. And we're measuring it. We're like you put way too much paint on it. You put nowhere near enough, but majority put heaps on, but they didn't know actually how much they're putting on, because a lot of people don't understand that the tip is what's actually assisting you achieving your film thickness on your products. And that's why it's important to use the right tip, because a lot of people just go on the eye. And that's also the problem with people using fine finish tips outside. Guys love using the FFLPs. Looks mint, it does, but you're actually just getting nowhere near enough paint on there. But it looks good. So that's why the thing around tips, and why you need to make sure you're using the right tips for different products, and based on how quick you move, it ensures that you don't have to worry about the eye test. That you're actually putting paint on.
We had that scenario yesterday where, because we bang on the film thickness thing, and it was like straight away, first time someone was spraying, first time they sprayed, let's measure that. It's supposed to be, less than 50 microns.
Yeah.
It's 120 or something. It was like, to them it was comfortable. That's what they're used to. It's like, well, that's technically by rights, when that dries, it's spec.
Yeah.
It could be done. But these guys will just go and do another coat.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is yesterday, if we sprayed this room, for example, we would all use the same tip. And it's like, if we measured everyone, it'd be completely different. So it's like, that's the thing. That's legit a thing. So why would a company recommend you a tip size? Because it's like, if you use the 621 on the roof and I use the 6121 on the roof, if it's a steep roof, I'll be way quicker than you. Yeah. If it's a flat roof, it'll be way quicker than me. So it's like, how's that going to work? It's not. It's like, there's some value in learning that and figuring it out, because you get I would say the amount of paint people would save, obviously a paint company is not going to tell you this, but it's like the amount of paint you could potentially save by using the right tip for you personally would be insane, absolutely insane. But if you're a big commercial paint company, like I told you about before, and they're putting it on 5 times too thick, and they're letting it dry and putting it on a second coat. Yeah. Like, no paint company's going to tell you that. Yeah. We will, because we want you guys to save money and make money. These guys make use of money, right?
You know what blows my mind, bro? when it comes to warranties and stuff is when I say to painters, I'm like, what's the warranty on the product? And they say, oh, well, some 10, 15 years, obviously depends how much you put on, the thickness and everything like that. Talking about guys that use fine finish tips externally and they'll get fading and stuff at some stage. But at the end of the day, to me, paint warranties mean nothing. They don't mean anything to me. They have,
especially the repaint.
Yeah, well, they haven't meant anything to me for a long time. Applicator's warranty means something to me because that is your brand, your business, and what is going to keep getting you work over and over and over again. And I ask a lot of guys, what's your applicator's warranty? Well, what? Your applicator's warranty. Oh, well, it depends what product I'm using, like Solar Guard, 7 years or 15 years if I use it 3 coats, or 10 years or whatever. And I said, yeah, that's your product warranty, but what's your actual applicator's warranty? What do you warrant? What do you warrant with your work? And they keep going back to the manufacturer's warranty. And I think a lot of guys don't know the difference. So when we used to, when we'd be doing a lot of repaints, stratas, commercial repaints, those kind of things. And we even gave it to mums and dads with residential on it if they wanted a copy of it. But your manufacturer's warranty is the products you put on and what that warranty is, and you put it to spec, so that's that warranty. Our applicator's warranty was 7 years. So if anything from poor workmanship or, something wasn't done right, there's obviously factors in that. There's things caused by moisture, water damage, all that kind of stuff. But basically we would warrant 7 years. So if anything did, if it faded or cracked or anything like that, we would go back. And a lot of the time I could tell it was like, oh, that might have only had 1 coat. We missed the 2nd coat on that or something. And you just redo it again, because unless the whole thing deteriorated and was stuffed, then it wasn't the whole job, wasn't done right. It might have been just one section, which happens, but we would honor it. We would fix that up. But yeah, guys need to understand, like, what are you warranting as the applicator? What are you, the paint manufacturer, they warrant something. But I think it's really important because the applicator's warranty is the only thing that matters.
And what you said before, actually, I just had a realization that, because I give manufacturers a hard time about warranty and stuff like that, and it's like, because it really bothers me when, there's a product failure and, all you get is a bit of paint, and it's like, in hindsight, if the paint fails, that's what they're warranting. So all you deserve is paint, really. So it's like you got to get your system right and your application right, because like you said, the applicator's warranty, that's on you. Yeah. And that at the end of the day, you're the one that's redoing it, not the paint manufacturer, not the whatever. So it's like I maybe I shouldn't give him such a hard time over that, because it's like once our paint didn't work, here's some more paint. Well, which is good. Well,
bro, at the end of the day, accountability needs to be somewhere.
100%.
Right? So it's all well and good to go buy your paint, put it on, it fails, then go and blame them.
Yeah.
Yep, it's your fault. You did this, you did that. And then they say, well, no, it's your fault. Pardon?
There's raining outside. It's not our fault.
Yeah. Like, so there needs to be some accountability both sides. But to me, I haven't had that many problems over the years when it comes to, paint failing. If you prep something properly, you put the right primer on it, you put the right amount of top coats on it, right thickness, it's going to stay. Yeah. And because what we see as well, right, is like when someone asks about a spray tip, for example, and they're like, I use for, a 410 to spray my doors with Aquatrin. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm doing balustrating this time. I've got some posts to do, need something smaller. So what should I get? Is the 210 okay? Person in the shop's going, sure, get a 210. It'd be fine. They go back and they do it. They get runs all over it because instead of this much paint being spread across this, you've got the same amount of paint in this much space. So a lot more is coming out. Now, painters will blame the person in store, right? Now, the person in store doesn't really know. They're just agreeing with you and trying to tell you something. Where I see, as the painter, it's your business, it's your life. So you should be the one actually seeking out the information so you don't get told the wrong shit and believe it. So you need to educate yourself, find out if it's not coming to us, it's going on YouTube, reading manuals, whatever it may be, but you need to educate yourself so because I feel like in the current state, we're quick to blame everyone else. And, there is a time that it's not your fault and it is someone else to blame. But as a business owner, you're in a basketball game, playing a basketball team. That's the way I like to talk about it. Do you want the ball in your hands when you're shooting the game-winning shot, or are you going to pass it to someone else? You want the ball in your hands, and that's how you should look at it as a business. It's in your hands. You're in control of it, right? And instead of trusting someone else that doesn't know anything, it's your job to know it. And I know that there's not a lot of options out there, but you've got to seek it. It's your trade. It's your livelihood. You need to know the information because it's only going to better you as an applicator and your business, and it will stop you from getting bad advice because you're armed with the knowledge. So
it's one of those things too. Like there's definitely no points for being negligent, and there's a difference between one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing in the first place is because we don't like relying on people to provide the service to our customer that we want to provide because it's a poor reflection on us because we recommend them buy something. So, like for example, when I was at Dulux, we used to get warranty claims all the time. So like a circuit board, a motor, and the manufacturers were great, and they would come to the table. They would send the part, and we were put in a position to fix it. But the problem was oftentimes they didn't stock the part, so you have to wait weeks on weeks to get these stuff in stock, or the person who approves it's out of town, so you wait days for them to get, all the stuff that are variable that are now making me look bad because of I recommended it, customer's pissed, I want to fix it, and if I had the choice, I would just fix it, and then we would, but they were kind of delayed by that stuff. So one of the things that we did was, all right, from now on, we're stocking every of the common machines that we sell, every motor and every circuit board. We're having one here just in case. That way, if it is delayed, we just fix it, send it on its way, and then when we're pretty certain, we know what's happening. We're pretty sure they're going to reimburse us anyways. It's one of those things where it's like, that was a situation where if we just followed the status quo, it would actually damage our brand because we're the one in the face, that exposes you to losing paint business, losing spray business, losing everything. And so it's like, and that's what a lot of businesses do. They just go, well, that's the warranty, I can't do anything about it. Yeah. It's like, maybe that's true, but you can do stuff about it. So it's like in this scenario, we put things in place to, worst case scenario, the manufacturer doesn't improve it. But it's like, at least we did what we wanted to do, sort of solve the problem for the customer. And they're looked after, and that's the most important thing. But in general, they're good. But there's things you can do. If you go to like a housing scenario, it's like, yeah, they're not always the best for offering warranty things, but there's things that you can implement to avoid that. And when the shit hits the fan, solve it for the customer. Yep. At least while they're in your face, and then take a 1-star review and turn it into a 5-star review.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. That is another episode of the U Spray podcast in the books. Until next time, keep spraying.